I got a haircut. That's right. I got a haircut. Y'all can't make fun of my come over no more. You know what I'm saying? All right, here's the deal. No special segment this week because the recap itself is the special segment this week. What an insane weekend of football. Let's jump straight in with the game that was wrapped up first this weekend, uneventful. Gravy Worms versus Chum Bucket. Raven Shade, aka Summer.
Okay, ready?
Versus Sam Chumley, 46 points to 49 points. Not a whole lot to unpack here. Patrick Mahomes with 15 points, A-Chain with 16, Odunze with 15, Baker Mayfield with 19, Saquon Barkley struggling this week with 9, and Najigba, the person that Sam did rotate in, with 20 versus AJ Brown, the one that she ended up benching, finally showing up this week with 22.9 points. Will she rotate him back in? Only time will tell. Of course, on Summer's bench, she had Jonathan Taylor with 32 points. Could have gotten her the win. Didn't. We are walking away with both of them having a record of 1-2. That's right. Sam has her first official fantasy win. Congratulations and welcome to the winner's bracket. Paige did point this out yesterday, assuming that she did win her game, which she did, spoiler alert. Everyone walked away this week with a record of either 2-1 or 1-2. It is still any man's game. Playoffs a long ways away. However, we are all still in the running. Keep it going. Let's go on to the next game. So we had two games with razor thin margins. The first one being Booze Clues versus Cheddar's Enjoyer. Robert versus Jacob with 50 points to 52 points. Robert picking up Drake May, the swap that none of us saw coming, but we all needed. Drake May throwing for 23, Kyron Williams 19, and Ladd McConkey not doing as well as he's been doing with only 8 points. Versus the other side of the line, we got Dak Prescott throwing for 14, Bijan for 16, and Puka Nacua being the difference maker this week with 22.8 points, leading them to have a basically 3-point game in between them. Both of them walking away with 2-1 records. I still feel really good about Jakey's team, but Robert is really starting to surprise me with some of these wins that he's starting to get. Let's move on to the other extremely sharp margin between Winnie and the Jets and the Baja Blasters. Cody versus Mason, a 51.2 points to a 51.4 points. That is right. This is a 0.18 game. Ultimately coming down to one pass, one reception, a few yards of rushing, whatever it may be. Josh Allen continuing to be him with 29 points, and Tyreek Hill, even though the Dolphins are looking terrible this season, catching for 15.9. The real problem here was Ashton Genty with 6.3 points. As a rookie, we will probably continue to see this trend of boom and bust. We don't know really which way he's going to lean yet. Versus the other side, we got Justin Herbert for 16, Josh Jacobs for 12, and Nico Collins with the Texans being the difference maker for Robert's team with 22.4 points. Bo Nix, of course, sitting on Cody's bench. I know a couple of people are looking for some quarterbacks, primarily Paige, even though she has Jared Goff now. We'll get into that. We have not seen any trades yet. We're about a third of the way through the season. No trades, kind of anticipated considering the waiver wire is super healthy. But maybe it's time to start throwing some trades each other's ways. So y'all keep an eye out for those, you know what I'm saying? Okay, moving on to the Monday night games. We have Butt Dog versus Triple Dipper. This one was great for me, obviously, because number one, I was part of this game. Number two, Paige and I were absolutely talking shit to each other and nonstop from last Tuesday through last night via text messages, Snapchat groups, taunting on the app, whatever it may be. We had each other's number. It came down to Jared Goff versus Derrick Henry on Monday Night Football. Derrick Henry, of course, going on the record in a couple of interviews saying he wasn't proud of last week's scores and last week's showing, and he really wanted to show up this week and eat. However, He must have had a snack before the game because he was not hungry at all. Versus Jared Goff, throwing for 14.6 points. A great pickup by Paige. She did snatch Chuba Hubbard off of the waiver wire before I could grab him last week. And she also grabbed Jared Goff out from under me, leaving me to grab Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes, of course, throwing for 17.8 with Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are looking great this year. Danny Dimes has finally figured out what the problem was with his game, and that's being on the Giants, just like Saquon Barkley figured out last week. Couple of other things that did happen. Justin Jefferson, of course, not doing too great this weekend with 12.5 points. However, sure beats the 0.0 CeeDee Lamb got me going out in the second possession of the Dallas Cowboys game. CeeDee Lamb was tackled. Someone basically landed on his ankle, looked like it twisted a little bit.
Early in this one, 7-0 over the Cowboys.
He's assured us he's gonna be back. An MRI yesterday sure told us different. Not to be outdone, Paige with James Conner, who about halfway through his game, his ankle essentially exploded.
Him as he was met at the line of scrimmage trying to find some room to make a run here.
Season-ending injury. James Conner will be out for the rest of the season. Not a problem for me. I do have a Amon-Ra St. Brown sitting on my bench to swap in with CeeDee Lamb. Shouldn't be a problem at all. For Paige, she will probably continue to cycle through people. If you want someone to get hurt this season, trade them to her. I'm sure she can make it happen. And now on to the game of the week, without a doubt, is Stillwall versus Dirt Diggers.
But y'all don't say that.
68.8 points to 62.3 points. Phil was looking pretty defeated early on Sunday. He even texted the group saying that he didn't think he had any chance of beating Oscar. However, his team showed up at Monday Night Football. Lamar Jackson throwing for 33 points, Jahmyr Gibbs running for 26. Jamar Chase with only 8 points is interesting to see. Now that Joe Burrow is out, are the Bengals gonna have issues with their passing game? Are they gonna become more of a running team? Only time's gonna tell on that one. Versus Oscar with Jalen Hurts with his 35 points. Christian McCaffrey continuing to be healthy. You love to see it with his 24 points. And then Malik Neighbors with his 3.3 points. Now keep in mind, if Oscar would have started James Cook, it probably would have went a different way. Or if he would have started Drake London, it also probably would have a different way. But hey, like I said last week, that's fantasy, baby. The most exciting part about this, though, is I was laying in bed watching this game happen. Phil was down by basically 10 points going into the last 30 seconds of the game, and the Ravens put together this aggressive pass offense drive down the field that absolutely fed Phil the points that he needed, bringing him to the win with a record of 2-1 versus Oscar's 2-1. Like I said at the start of this video, everyone still has a fair shot. There's still plenty of Titans out here, but let's take a look at the power rankings. Power rankings, not too much changing this week. We have Baja Blasters trending up, Cheddar's Enjoyer trending up, and Gravy Worms trending up versus Butt Dog continuing to move down, Winnie and the Jets moving down, and Stillwall slightly moving down. Doesn't look like there's too many changes here. I mean, Baja Blasters really coming up to 4th is the big one that's worth talking about this week. Mason is looking aggressive in these stats. You love to see it, all right? All right, and last but not least, let's take a look at next week's games. We have Triple Dipper versus Winnie and the Jets, Butt Dog versus Gravy Worms. We'll obviously be excited to see the two sisters duke it out across the Snapchats. Chum Bucket versus Stillwall, Dirt Digger versus Booze Clues, and Baja Blasters versus Cheddar's Enjoyer. Should be a great game or a great weekend of games. You love to see the movement on the waiver wires. Like I said, I would love to see some trades happening. Absolutely incredible weekend, guys. Hopefully the rapture doesn't happen today and I get to see you guys all again. If it does, it looks something like this.